Look at us, man. Superman. That weight is more than what Fabio Boccanini weighs, our other guest professional on the show, and Kevin's doing it for repetitions. Good job, Kevin.
Yeah. Every drop, every ounce, every piece of energy within me.
The experience of being much stronger than everybody else, I think that's an unbelievable experience. You feel richer. You feel that sooner or later that you can do anything.
It is Sunday, August 10th, and we are working out, getting yoked on this Sunday, on the beginning of August. It's a special time. I didn't get to sleep much last night for whatever reason. It's not because of the cortisol, actually. The cortisol was low. Sometimes I just have like inflammation that kind of creeps up on me and makes it harder for me to sleep. So I think that's what did it. Nonetheless, we're going to do some quads today. This is the lower day. Just as a quick refresher, we are doing a program where Dr. Nash Jocic inspired this. He talked about it on his channel regarding Serge Nubret's workout routine and workout split, and the way he trains in like high volume training, and how this training is what allows him to be in the best shape. So we're going to do high volume training just like we did yesterday. We did chest yesterday, just bench press. We did 13 sets. Today is going to be just quads, and we have the squat bar set up over there. We have the Olympic bar, 45 pounds plus 25 pounds, 25 pounds, 25 on each side. That's going to be 95 pounds. Now, previous to that, because I'm just getting back into lifting, I was doing goblet squats, but the goblet squats are, the goblet squats were only 50 pounds. So this is going to be a little bit more than that now. So it's going to be 95. So it's going to be a little, a little different. Definitely a little different. By the way, call on the show 313-591-0290. And in between sets, you can give me a ring and share your thoughts on stuff. I wanted to also direct you to Jesus Lifts, which is the free book on my website, fezgarcia.com/free-book. And it's a great testimony book with different testimonies or stories, anecdotes of how people came to the faith and knowledge of Jesus Christ and how it changed their lives. So that's a really great free resource. And if it makes an impact on you, if you enjoy it, if you like it, you could also share it with anyone you like. It's absolutely free. This is only volume 1. I plan on doing at least seven volumes, because I have over 200 testimonies that I've collected over the years. And if you are interested in sharing your testimony on the show, I'm also looking for guests to share their story as to how they came to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, because the message of Jesus comes above the message of fitness. Fitness is an outward expression of Jesus, because once you take the Bible seriously and start getting to know Jesus, you want to treat your temple, treat your body as the temple of the Holy Spirit, take care of your health, and you want to, everything is an outward expression, like I said, of Jesus. So that's what we're doing today. I want to make sure, this is one of the benefits I notice of training this way, the high volume training, lowering the weight, higher number of sets, is that I don't feel my central nervous system as fatigued and as overtrained at the end of the session. So like past 4 weeks that I started this fitness journey, I noticed that I couldn't sleep after my workouts. Now, after last night, when I changed my routine, I could sleep. I did it was spotty sleep, but that's for a different reason because of the inflammation that I was having. But that was not related to the workout that I did. Now we're going to do another high volume training routine today, just for quads. And we got the squat bar set up. I want to make sure that I can do work on the deck after, because I'm trying to finish up this ground deck. And I've never done a deck before. I'm using Tough Blocks. I don't know if you've ever heard of these. I don't have to dig a hole in the ground and fill with concrete, so it makes it a lot easier. But at the same time, building a deck is building a deck. I still have 2x8s that I had to, I'm framing the deck right now, so it takes a lot of like time for me, especially because I'm not used to having to do it. But I am picking up my pace now because I'm like getting into the flow of it. And right now, I have like the ledger board is what made it hard, because I had the ledger board with concrete anchors I had to screw in, which reminds me I have to go to Home Depot and get some more. I got to get longer size concrete anchors to put in the ledger board. But then my house goes like this, so it goes flat, and then it juts out a little bit, maybe like 2 feet, and then it comes across again, and there's obstacles in between. So instead of having 16 inches on center I'm sure this is fascinating if I'm just sharing it with you because it's on my mind. But like, you're supposed to have your joist 16 inches on center, right? When you build the deck. But in this one spot, because there's obstacles along the wall of my house where I'm building the ledger board, I had to make the spacing a little bigger. So, you have to look into the metrics of like, is this spacing too big? Because I have a 24-inch spacing and I have a 22-inch spacing. And then now like the 5/8 by 6-inch decking boards, can they span that distance? And the answer is yes. It goes up to like 24 inches, so I'm happy about that. But so we're going to work on the deck later today after this. So it's going to be a good project. Let's go back to the main screen. All right. So I have a little bit of crepitus in my knees, and I feel like that could be lack of calcium. This is just my bro science-ness coming out. Sometimes when I increase my calcium, and it used to be like when I would have like MSM and glucosamine chondroitin supplements, sometimes I wouldn't feel my knees as much. It would kind of almost feel like strength in my knees. Sometimes it's collagen. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I experiment with different supplements to see what helps my knees more. But we're going to be squatting a lot. I used to have some squat knee pads or knee support things. I don't even know what I did with those. But anyway, we're not going to be using those today. So we're just going to get to the squat. And let's do our first set. Then I'll complain to you about my newborn who's a pain in the neck and wakes up at the crack of dawn so that you can't barely sleep at night. And then we'll complain about my newborn a little bit more, and then we'll do another set. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Oh man, that was good. I could have done more. The weight's not very much right now, but we are trying this new methodology where I'm lightening the weight and doing a high set count and a high rep count, 12 to 20 reps. I think I just got 20 there. Sometimes as I'm lifting, like my mind drifts off. I'm like in another world sometimes, so I lose count. But I'm pretty sure that was around 20. What I wanted to say, I was going to talk about my back injury briefly because I'm always cognizant of my back injury. When I was a trainer years ago, I was working at LA Fitness at the time. I tell the story. This one member who's really obnoxious and clearly on steroids, but it wasn't doing him any good because he wasn't that big. But he had the steroid, the like roid rage, and he would be real angry. So he came up to me one day and he challenged me and said, I can't squat 5 something. It was 5 plates on each side on the Smith machine, and I can't beat him. And I shouldn't have went for it, but I actually accepted the challenge, and I squatted the weight, and I did more reps than him, and I basically beat him in the challenge. But at the same time, I hurt my back because as I was putting the weight down, because my legs were fatigued, and I was trying to flick my wrist to put it back on the Smith machine, I missed I just missed the rung. The first time I missed the rung, the second time. And as I tried again, I missed the rung again as I was trying to flick my wrist. I didn't have anyone spotting me. He should have been spotting me. But then I just let the weight come off my shoulders this way. So I just shrugged the weight off my shoulders like that. The weight crashed to the ground. And I felt something tweak and like a cracking sound in my lower back. And someone who was standing next to me, like he was in the next squat rack over. He looked at me and he was like, "Ooh, that didn't sound good." And I was like, "Yeah, that didn't sound good." And after that, I had issues with my back, but luckily, I think time and nutrition and stuff like that just healed it. So doing something like this, like years back, I would feel it in my back and I could not do it. It just hurt too much. But now, this doesn't bother me. It is light, but I can do more. But again, this is not a contest to do more weight. So, but the moral of the story is, if someone challenges you like that, don't get your ego involved. Just be like, no. Just be like the risk manager. Be like, unsafe. Not going to do it. All right. Okay. Let's do another set. I'll try to see how much we're pumping up. I'm also keeping a narrow stance as I'm doing these squats. So I'm doing back squats here like this, keeping a narrow stance. We might switch to front squats too a little bit later, but back squats, narrow stance, while getting the outer sweep of the quads, which to me is more aesthetically pleasing look. You don't want to build up the inner quads you want your legs rubbing together and stuff. You don't want that. So let's do another set. Okay. I should actually probably increase the weight. Normally I would, because I would only do like 4, maximum 5 sets of a large muscle group like quads, because I was increasing the weight a lot. I was using my CNS to help lift the weight. And now I'm trying to axe the CNS. No recruitment from the CNS. I'm trying to focus on isolating the quads, using only the quads. So it's a different mentality. It's a different mindset. It's a different approach. So, you know what I'm going to do though, because I feel like there's a sweet spot here. I'm a little too low. I'm just going to add 10 pounds. So next set, we'll add 10 pounds, 5 to each side. If that's not enough, because I do want to feel big pumps. I'm starting to feel pumped though. I am getting pumped, definitely getting pumped. But I'm trying to get, there's a certain amount of weight that's a sweet spot there. That's going to make it easier. So my baby is annoying. I hate the baby stage, man. For those of you with kids out there, doesn't the baby stage suck? You know, constantly grunting and making noise, even at night. Like as soon as we take our eyes off her for a second, she's like, she needs to have her someone looking at her at all times. I don't know if it's a personality thing or what, but she needs to have someone looking at her, right? So if you're looking at her, she's happy, she's smiling, she's like giggling and whatever. You take your eyes off of her, like during dinner time when I'm trying to eat, trying to relax, she starts grunting and crying and just being a pain. So having a baby is not that easy, guys. I also think she's teething, you know, because I anytime I put my fingers near her mouth, she'll just think it's some food or something. She'll try to latch onto it. Yeah, I don't know. It's when I first held the baby, like in the hospital, and I started feeding the baby. It's crazy. You don't really know this until you have a baby. It's just babies are ravenous, man. They're ravenous for food. They're like a crazed animal for food. So like the first, like outside using the bottle, right? And the nipple's right here, and I'm about to put it in her mouth. She'll go like this, like she's trying to, like an animal that's literally trying to shake their prey, the life out of their prey. The shot like that. It's pretty funny. You know, so like she's either ravenous or right now, because she's teething, they say her appetite goes down. So her appetite is really low. So she eats like 4 ounces of milk instead of 6 ounces, which she normally would eat. So it's like nerves are like, oh, is she eating enough? Now she's not eating enough. She's going to lose weight. It's like, if we want her weight to keep going up. But thank God everything is good so far. She's on track. Last time we went to the pediatrician. So I wanted to show you guys a quick fitness hack, a quick fitness tip. Take a look at this. If you look, I don't know if you can see that. These are eggshells. If you can hear that, see, I'm trying to crack the eggshells using my spoon and making it into like little like a little. I'm about to eat this, guys. This is a really cheap way to get your calcium in. Eggshells are made out of calcium carbonate. And because I didn't have time to run to the store to get calcium, I usually prefer calcium lactate. Like I'll go to the store and get kale, like frozen kale, organic kale. And I'll just stockpile that. And anytime I feel like I need calcium, I'll just have some kale because it's very high in calcium. But sometimes I don't have the time or the inclination to do that. So this is an easy hack. It's not got eggshells on the floor. So if you have, like, let's say a spoonful of eggshells, right? Very loud. Very gritty. Doesn't taste very good. No reason you'd want to eat this under normal circumstances. But at the same time, saves you money. Easy calcium supplement replacement. Why not, right? So we're going to be eating some calcium throughout the show. I don't like to eat it all at once. And we're going to do some more squats. Let's up the weight 10 pounds and see how we go. Let's do it.
Get down to the B side.
Okay, so that was a harder set. Adding the 10 pounds, as minute as that is, it's made a big difference. I felt more activation in the quads. Definitely getting a pump. I think that was my third or fourth set. I'm already losing count. But we're going to try to get 10 to 12 sets, kind of like yesterday. We got lots of sets. I'm going slow, controlled. When you squat to the back like this. You stick your butt out like this. Try to keep yourself upright as much as possible. And that way you can get a better squat. You never squat over the knees like this. You don't squat like this. You're going to put too much pressure on your knees. I wanted to share about my breakfast today. I made a pretty good dish. I might make it a lot now. Let me see if you can see this. Can you see that? That is what I cook for breakfast. That's a pound of ground beef, 90% lean, grass-fed finished. I got it from Walmart. More people are catching on because every time I go to Walmart now, I can barely find it. Usually I get the 93% lean. What I did is I browned the meat. Then what you do is you take a cut onion and you put it in the pan, try to brown it a little bit. I usually put some salt and pepper, a little bit of cayenne pepper. And then what I do is I push it all to the side in the pan. That way you can that way you can throw some eggs in there. So I do is I throw some eggs in the other side of the pan with a little bit of oil because it already has some fat from the beef, but I also put a little bit of oil in there, like olive oil. And then I cook the eggs like 3/4 of the way. Then I mix everything together. And that's what you come out with. It's really like the contents of a breakfast burrito that you would eat, right? It comes out really good and it has very high in protein. It actually lines up with the way Vince Gironda would advise his trainees to eat. As Vince Gironda would say, his diet would be like, this is according to, like I said, Dr. Nash Jocic, who is a wealth of information when it comes to like old school bodybuilders and 70s, 80s bodybuilding, Serge Nubret's bodybuilding style and stuff like that. But he says that Vince Gironda used to advise his trainees to eat meat and eggs every meal of the day, 3 times a day, and as much as you want. But the reality is, if you eat that way, you're probably not going to eat that much because it's very filling. And if you put a lot of meat in your system, it actually, you probably need to up the digestive enzymes and stuff that you take because it's hard to digest it, especially if you eat it multiple times a day. You're not used to it. That's what I found. But he said that the third day, the third meal, you just have pasta with some tomato sauce just to replenish your glycogen. But he says mainly you should be eating meat and eggs, combination of meat and eggs. So this happens to fall into that category. And he was advising against 0 carbs, but honestly, just because I don't think it's the end of the world, so I'm not trying to like compete or anything, I would probably throw that on a roll, you know. I'm a big fan of Dave's Killer Bread. So get the Dave's Killer Bread roll, throw some of that breakfast, and make it into a breakfast sandwich. Also, you could like take a tortilla and make a breakfast burrito and fill that with the bread and put some salsa in it, put some guacamole in it, but that you're going to up the calories a little bit. But it depends on how strict you want to be, but throw some salsa in it. That won't add too many calories. Make a nice breakfast burrito using that. I think it's a great idea. The only problem is like every time I go to the store, like the price of eggs is so high. I paying like astronomical amount for eggs because I don't just get cage-free eggs. I try to get the pasture raised eggs because those are the better ones because they're grazing and stuff on the grass and the insects and whatnot. It's supposed to be healthier. So, and I do notice like when you crack open a pasture raised egg, a really deep yellow egg yolk color, really delicious, tastes a little bit better. For some reason, the other eggs, they taste more almost watered down. It's a weird thing, but they almost taste watered down compared to the pasture raised eggs. But they're so expensive. I mean, paying $10.99 for a dozen and a half of these eggs. What does that come down to per egg? That's like, let me see, dozen and a half. That's 30 eggs divided by, let me see, $11. Let's do it right now. Divided by 30. 36 cents an egg. You know, imagine you could get an entire dozen eggs back in my grandma's day. And my grandpa used to say he would get eggs for like a quarter, not even a quarter. I think he would buy eggs for a dime. They would send my dad to this corner store to get eggs, and I think they give him like $1, and he would use like a dime for eggs, a dozen eggs. He'd use 15 cents for a gallon of milk or a quart of milk, and some. Back then they used to have Wonder Bread and stuff. I haven't seen Wonder Bread even on the shelves in a long time, but things have gone up in price so much. Why is that? Well, if you don't recall, but recently a bunch of was it chicken farms where they would farm eggs? They were burnt to the ground not too long ago, and the headline was like mysterious fires consume multiple chicken farms across America, something like that. But then years later, it would come out. I think the reason might have been the CDC or the FDA was putting pressure on this farmer or something because they were saying that their chickens are contaminated with some kind of disease, which is all bullshit. So that's all just fake. Could have been just, that's an agenda to try to inflate the price of eggs or something. So that's still kind of up in the air. But like, if I were you and I lived in a rural place, just get your own chickens, man. There is a way to. I was looking into this. I just can't where I live because I live too close to my neighbors. But I would definitely have chickens. There's a way to make it where you're not spending any money on feed because you make like a small plot of just to feed the chickens. Like you grow like alfalfas and what have you, different vegetables and things that they eat. Plus you mix it in with food scraps and kitchen scraps and things that you throw away from the kitchen. And basically I heard that you can feed your chickens that. It's what the Amish do. And that's plenty for the chickens. They'll produce tons of eggs, got tons of eggshells, so your calcium supplement, right? Tons of your eggshells. You hear that? Oh yeah. Tastes bad, but free calcium. Let's hit another set, and we'll yap a little bit more about some other stuff. Call in the show 313-591-0290. Let's see. Let's play this figure. This figure from blank. Oh man, I lost a set. I think that was my 5th set. Not sure. I'm definitely pumped. I feel it in the mirror. a trick to get a little more blood in those muscles after the set is to stand on your heels. Stand slightly on your heels. Force a little more blood into those muscles. And that'll help push the fascia to, make your muscles bigger. I'm on a high calorie day. I'm doing the zigzag. So if you go to calories.com, I think it is, I put in my weight, put in my height. I'm 5'8". Right now I weigh 218, something like that, which is still high, of course. I'm trying to get down to like 205. My activity level, I am pretty active during the week, but I'm not super active, so I'm moderately active. And then it said I needed to eat around 2,100 calories during the week, 2,700 calories on the weekends. And the weekends coincide with my workout, so that kind of works out. And the reason you zigzag is because after a certain amount of time eating 2,100 calories, which is, let's say, a deficit, your body adjusts, slows your metabolism to account for the new caloric intake. So a way to shock your system to continue to burn fat and to continue to lose weight is you increase the calories suddenly over, let's say, 2 days, and then you go back down to a lower caloric intake. And that's what I've been doing, and it's been working. So I lost like 10 to 12 pounds so far. So I would recommend that, So what else do I want to say? Oh, there's some other stuff I wanted to discuss about these crop circles. It's crazy. Do you see this video of these crop circles? They showed there's like a farmer who put out a surveillance camera of his field, and over the course of the night you saw these like orbs circling like this. The orbs would be circling, and the crop circle, they would at the end of the night there'd be a crop circle there. So people are like, what are these orbs? Are they aliens? Or are they whatever? Honestly, it's the same thing as people who say they see orbs in the cemetery, or people who say, if you really research it, because I used to be into this, people would say that they saw orbs in like a haunted house or a house that had like supernatural activity in it. And there'd be orbs, right? That they'd see like all these, or sometimes if you catch it on camera, like, these like ghost hunter people, they have all their video recording equipment and these quote haunted houses. It's not haunted house by a ghost. A lot of times depends on what happens in that house. Like, for example, like let's say if somebody were to carve a pentagram in the basement, conduct some kind of satanic ritual, invoke spirits, and do like a sex orgy or something in the basement, that house would then have almost like an open door where spirits would be able to come in, because it's like you're giving them permission and you're giving them a physical space because you did it in a certain area. And that's my understanding of it. So what happens is, that's why you see these orbs. These orbs are like manifestations of demonic spirits and stuff like that. So if you look at this footage of this farmer that the farmer took of his field, you could see these orbs that are circling like this. And sometimes they can have manifestations in the physical, and they could do something like a crop circle, I think it's very within the realm of things that are possible. It's certainly not a freaking alien. I think it's stuff that, of course, they don't want you to discuss. If it actually was an alien, they probably wouldn't tell you it was an alien. But they're trying to put this thing in your head about aliens. You saw all these stories about aliens in the news lately. It's so stupid. But I think they're trying to prep people's minds and trying to say, well, there's aliens out there. Therefore, there's no Jesus Christ. There's no God. There's no judgment. It's almost like a psyop to try to convince people out there that there is no right and wrong. There's no eternal judgment. There's no God. There's no Jesus Christ. That's all a myth, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to convince you of that. So that's the pitfall. Now, we are going to do another set. Let's hit some more quads. I think we're on the 5th set. Let's do it. Here we go. Okay. Oh man, catch my breath. You know what I think I might do? I'm going to flip it to front squats. Front squats here. Like that. Instead of having, because it's 6, back squats. I'm gonna do some front squats. I might have to drop that 10 pounds though. Front squats are harder if you haven't tried them. Oh man. There's another story I saw. I don't know if you heard about it. There's a Catholic priest telling a story of how Ted Bundy, who came up to him, because he was in a jail cell. He was already arrested at that time, and a priest must have been there to read him his rights or something, or to help convert him or whatever. You know how they do? They have priests in jails and things. And previous to this, Ted Bundy had tried to kill a girl in a college dorm, and as soon as he opened the door to her room, she was praying the rosary. And when she was praying the rosary, he opened the door with a knife or whatever murder instrument that he had in his hand. And there was some unseen force that threw him out of the room. The knife fell from his hand and he could not understand it. And when he was arrested and there's a priest there, Tim Bundy asked the priest, he said, "You know what I don't get? There's this one time when I was about to kill this girl in a college dorm and she was praying the rosary and something was stopping me from going in that room and something threw me backwards. I don't know what it was. Can you explain that?" And this priest met the girl. I didn't mention that. See, I'm telling it the wrong way, but he had spoken to that girl before that meeting with Tim Bundy. And the girl gave her side of the story and said that someone tried to open the door, looked like he was going to kill me, but then something threw him out and I was praying the rosary. Can you explain this? I think that yes, prayer is powerful. God protects his children. Not to say that, like in Idaho, the sorority girls and that kid who got killed, I'm not saying that they were not Christian or they were not protected. I really don't know what happened there. But what I am saying is that in the moment that this girl was praying the rosary, in that moment, she was protected. Now, I'm assuming, I think it was a true story. I don't think there was any reason for him to make that up. I just think it's food for thought. It's just, power of prayer. And there's a lot of instances of that. Like, speaking of which, my book, again, if you haven't checked it out, please do. Jesus Lifts, free testimony book on my website, fezgarcia.com/free-book. It really has amazing, life-changing testimonies of Jesus Christ, how Jesus saved multiple people. You not just saved them eternally, but in some cases saved their very life. Speaking of saving someone's life, like there's this one story, Bill Henderson, pastor for disaster. This guy is the dope dealer to hope dealer. Great testimony. It's like amazing story. He says, like, after his whole story is amazing. I would not do it justice if I told those, you have to read it yourself. But there's one part where he was a missionary to Haiti, and there was a Haitian guy who had his rifle sights on his head, and he was trying to pull the trigger to kill him because there was a contract on Bill Henderson's life, and he could not pull the trigger. Something was stopping him from pulling the trigger and killing Bill Henderson. And Bill Henderson was in the process of like sharing the gospel message and trying to help convert people to Jesus Christ. So that was a pretty amazing story. And the guy himself who tried to kill Bill Henderson, he actually joined Bill's team, his evangelistic team, and he traveled around with him and spread the gospel message after that. It was almost like part of his testimony. So that's pretty incredible. This guy even told Bill Henderson, he was like, hey, there's a time when I was paid to kill you. And when I was at the moment of me pulling the trigger and I had the sights on your head, I couldn't do it. There was something stopping me from pulling that trigger. So I think that's pretty amazing. So that's in one testimony. So these are incredible testimonies. I highly encourage you to check them out. And if you do like them, if you do appreciate them, I'm not collecting donations. That's not where I'm going. I just want you to go take this and share it. You could even take this download, post it to your own website, your own web page. You could make business cards with this link and just share it to other people. I don't care what you do. I just want these testimonies to get out. And if you have a testimony of faith out there, I'm going to restart collecting testimonies again like I used to. And we'll have you on the show sharing your testimony. And eventually we'll transcribe that testimony and put in a book. So that's our goal here as well. Okay. I think what we should do is do another set. And then we'll talk about the lab-grown fish that the Jeff Bezos wants to start selling. What is it with billionaires who all of a sudden want to start selling the public like fake meat? Like Bill Gates with his lab-grown meat. That's Jeff Bezos. I don't know. Is that they start thinking of us as like peons and then we'll just eat whatever they give us? Anyway, here we go. Let's do another set. Excuse me. Yeah, red spots. Okay, how's the first set of front squats? I should take that pink thing off. Don't make fun of me. That's my wife's. She used to use it for like hip thrusts, you know, for her glutes. But I left it on there because it's too much of a pain to take it on and off. But for front squats, I feel like I'm losing the weight. I should take that thing off. Oh man, you know what? We're gonna take a calcium break, guys. Take some eggshells in. That reminds me of a story. There's one time I was training with this professional bodybuilder. He was a trainer at my gym. And he used to train under King Kamali. So he was real serious. I think he went on to win shows and stuff. He didn't become huge. Physically, yeah. Was in terms of popularity, not necessarily. I remember one time training with him. I felt so depleted that I needed to have like a little plastic box of food in between sets. I'd just be eating food because I just felt so depleted. That was a crazy workout. But again, one of those workouts where so stressful, so much cortisol in my system. I don't think I slept that night. That's the only problem. Definitely feeling a pump in my quad, so this is good. I think we're at 7 now. Just like that. Right? We're going to continue to 12 or 13 and see how this goes. Let me pull up this story because I'm kind of curious about it myself. The lab-grown meat. Let me see here. Which news sites do you guys go on? I tend to go on kind of similar news sites. The same news sites all the time, but I should switch it up. So let me pull up this news site here. Sorry, it's taking too long here. All right, so Gateway Pundit is one of my sites I like to look up. I saw this news story today. No, that might have been a different one. Oh, yeah, that was a different one. There's a story. about a guy shooting up the CDC. Did you see that? Where is it? He says he shot up the CDC because he got sick from COVID-19 shots. Here it is. We'll hit the other one later. Authorities identify shooter who attacked CDC headquarters and killed police officer near Emory University in Atlanta. Suspect reportedly blamed COVID-19 shot for making him sick. Does it remind you of what's his face? That Italian kid who shot the CEO of some healthcare company because he had back pain. Authorities have identified the person who allegedly killed a police officer and opened fire on the CDC headquarters, along with a potential motive behind the attack. Listen, the blood is on the hands of these liars in the pharmaceutical industry and the revolving door of influence in these regulatory agencies. They're supposed to have our back, but instead they cover for each other in the pharmaceutical industry. They're the ones who are responsible for this murder. They're the ones who should pay for it, really. It's so sad. This innocent cop, he was just doing his job. He's not responsible for anything. It's a shame, you know. As the Gateway Pundit reported, Emory University in Atlanta announced there was an active shooter on their campus near Emory Point Friday afternoon. Rapid gunshots were fired as a total lockdown was issued to the students. Photos later showed bullet holes at the CDC headquarters. Bullet casings were also found on the sidewalk outside of CVS. No CDC or CVS employees were reportedly injured. Police did reveal that 4 CDC workers were reported to emergency rooms claiming symptoms of anxiety. If you're in Congress and you see this news story, what are you thinking? Are you feeling partially responsible? I think they are. I mean, the one who I give credit to the most, though, is Rand Paul, because he's been going after Fauci like an attack dog, saying that he's going to indict him, saying that he's going to put him on trial, saying to put him on the stand, blah, 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 get him arrested, put him in jail. I applaud all that. I want to see some action. I think the American people want to see action on these things. If they don't see action, things are going to continue to death spiral, like the trust in the institutions and all this stuff that's just been going down the toilet lately, you know. But my heart goes out to Officer David Rose and his family. God bless you guys. I feel so sorry about this. Imagine, you know, you're a kid at home and you hear that your dad got shot on the job by some guy who's upset about getting the COVID-19 shot because it made him sick. But it's not your dad's fault that it happened. It's the CDC's fault. And now you don't have a dad because of it. It's just really sad. Law enforcement official revealed to the Associated Press that White was turned away by guards when he tried to gain access to Emory's campus and then drove to a spot near the CVS pharmacy and started firing. White was armed with a long gun and 3 other weapons. It has also been confirmed that White targeted the CDC building reportedly because he blamed the COVID-19 shot for making him sick. You know, he had a long gun, 3 other weapons. Most likely handguns, stuff that he had on his person. Long gun, they don't say it was an AR-15. You know, who knows? It could have been a shotgun. But I just, I saw something recently which I thought was interesting. It was like, it was this meme video showing how other countries, how many weapons and guns other countries have compared to the U.S. And the U.S. is like way up here on the bar graph. And all the other countries are like down here. I thought that was funny. But it's probably pretty true because I do own guns too, but most of them are for hunting. But owning a gun, gun culture to me is hunting culture first and foremost. And secondly, it's self-defense culture. If you're for self-defense, then you're for guns. Guns aren't inherently bad. Guns are just a tool, just like a car is a tool. And we know that there's circumstances and situations where there have been people who've driven big vans into crowds of people, killing multiple victims. So it's not about the tool. Although people say it's too easy for people to obtain, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think there's already a lot of background checks and things you have to do in order to get your hand on guns. I think criminals, of course, they don't abide by any laws. So those regulations are only applying to law-abiding citizens. They're not applying to your these people who are above the law. They consider themselves above the law. These criminals, these people who buy their guns on the black market and stuff like that, and clean guns and whatever. Let me see if there's a comment here. Let me see how many spam comments we have and how many real comments we have. Oh, sweet. We have a real comment. Boxing Glove 1. Hey, man, how's it going? Hey, what's up? How are you? What's on your mind? Yeah, I can see the chat. I just only see it when there's a little blue bubble there, and I know someone said something. Lately, I haven't been getting many chats, so I haven't been checking in that lately. Most of my chats, as you can probably see, are spam comments from people who are trying to sell me viewers, which I'm not interested in. So, of course, I want real people to check it out to watch. But anyway, so really sad for this police officer and his family. I think it's terrible. Really sad. Prayers go out for him. So let's do another set. We'll do some fun squats. And we're at set number 7. So we're trying this high volume style training again, because I think it's going to lead to more definition and a better physique. So let's try it out. By the way, if you want to call in the show, the number is 313-591-0290. You can call and chat and about whatever you want. And just do it in between sets when I'm at the computer here so I can answer the phone. All right, guys, let's do a set. Here we go. You know, the problem with front squats is that I'm trying to grab it and not have it slip off my shoulders as I'm doing the squat. And I'm putting more focus on that rather than my quads, which is I'm trying. So I'm going to go back to back squats for the rest of it. And then you know what? I think goblet squats. The problem with goblet squats is I can't load as much weight. But if I have like a 50-pound dumbbell, I can do front squats like this. It's really a squat. Goblet squat's a front squat, except it's not like this. You know what I'm saying? We have a comment from Boxing Glove 1. I'm doing great. Boxed my friend recently. Have you ever boxed anyone before? That's cool. I remember when I was a kid, I had these boxing gloves. I were given as like a Christmas gift from my dad. And I had 2 sets of boxing gloves. And we went into my neighbor's basement because my neighbor's parents weren't around. And we were boxing each other. And I didn't know anything about boxing, right? I didn't know how to like put my weight into the punches and stuff, using my legs and stuff. But I ended up beating my friend really bad. He was crying to his mom. I'm not saying that to brag. I wasn't really a tough kid, but I did win in that instance. But there's another time when I got my ass kicked by this kid who was bigger than me. And we were playing wiffle ball. And him and his friends were like ganging up on me and my friends. And I was pissed. So he was like trying to like do like certain pitches that were just, and his friend was like catcher, and he was like, they're trying to make it so that we couldn't hit anything, basically. And I got pissed and I rushed the mound and I was like, what's your problem? You know, like, just pitch it normal. And then he started like punching me in the gut, and then the wind was knocked out of me, and that was the end of it. But you know, I think I was never a fighter, really. I never really used my, all these like childhood memories are like coming to my memory now. Like this other time, Christy says, "Hey boss, how are you? Hey, what's up?" I'm able to peck pop. I can do this right now. Is that peck popping? Yeah, there we go. So I'm trying to remember this time when I was a kid. So that was a time where I got my ass kicked. But that one time with the boxing gloves, getting back to the boxing glove question, I did beat my friend. He wasn't particularly athletic though, so it's not like an accomplishment. But good for you, man. Boxing. You know what's really awesome workout is kickboxing, like Muay Thai. I remember I did Muay Thai one time. Like a couple times we did this, like a Muay Thai training. That will burn more calories than anything. Like you're doing all these like punches and stuff and kicks and stuff, and you're using your lower body. That's crazy. You know what I should do? I have a boxing. What the hell do you call this? I can't even think of the name. This is a boxing bag. Is that what you call it? I'll show you what it looks like. But I have some mitts and stuff, but there's also these like spiders and stuff that made nests in it. So I don't know if I want to use it. I'll have to like rinse it out with a hose first. But shadow boxing is great because they say shadow boxing increases your T levels a lot. You know? Boxing Gloves 1 says, me and my friend got into a heated argument, and his dad told us to put on the gloves and box it out. And we did weigh-ins and took our shirts off and boxed. That's cool. I like that. Because boxing, I mean, you're not going to get really super injured. Am I right about that? Like, it's a good way to get that aggression out and to like solve a conundrum that you two people are having, like a beef, maybe. But I don't think you're going to get super injured from it. But on the other hand, like Muhammad Ali and all these like retired boxers, Muhammad Ali had Alzheimer's and God knows what from all the boxing that he did. So, but that's cool. Very cool, guys. Again, like if you wanted to call in the show, 313-591-0290. Yeah, you know what? There's the pec popping right there. I did pecs yesterday. I almost have like a perma pump. It's like you do 12 to 13 sets of just bench press or any pec exercise. And it's almost like the blood has not like gone down yet versus what I used to do, which is crazy. All right. let's do another set of, this time we're going to go back-to-back squats. Don't make fun of my wife's pink thing that she has on a Olympic bar there. I'm just using, it actually makes it easier to do back squat. I don't mind it that much. And then maybe we'll do one more story here. But we have some time though. We can chat and talk about other stuff. So let's do this one. I gotta get some more music. I love training just one muscle group and not having to worry about other muscle groups. This program switch has been great because now I don't feel as much cortisol. I'm probably going to be able to sleep tonight. I remember doing P90X. Remember P90X with Tony Horton? That was one of my first experiences. Like, this is a crazy intense workout. I could not sleep after I did any P90X. How old is my audience here? Do you get the reference to P90X? Or were you guys like kids then? But that was like crazy intense workout with weights and circuits and things. Way too much for my body at the time. I remember every muscle in my body was sore afterwards. Could not sleep. I was like, what's the point of working out if you can't sleep and recover, right? So what are we at? 8 sets, I think. We'll do 3 more. Let's do an extra pump. Stand on your heels. Stand on your heels. Get a little bit more pump in the muscles there. It's crazy. After that one workout yesterday with chest, I don't know if my chest is bigger yet. But I didn't sleep that much last night, though. It's not much recovery. Is the baby. I wanted to find that news story. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Jeff Bezos, lab-grown fish. What does this make you think when you read something like that? That this multi-billionaire is not making enough money. He needs to make more money. He has to start a new business. He has to sell you lab-grown fish, which obviously is going to be unhealthy and a bad idea. Oh, wait, hold on. This is from July 31st. Let's say AOL.com. Let's take a look at this one. Boxing Glove 1 says, have you ever wrestled before? After I won by KO, we made up after the match, and his dad was our ref. See, that's the beauty, right? That's the way things should be. You make up after the fight, and now you're best friends. Have you ever wrestled? I never wrestled. I had friends who did wrestle. I remember they used to eat like tuna fish straight out of the can for their weigh-ins. They would be super ripped. They would be really lean. That was back in like the 8th and ninth grade. I remember friends of mine who would do that. I never got into wrestling. I thought it was kind of honestly, I didn't like the idea of being that close to a sweaty guy. Thought it was a little homoerotic, if you know what I mean. The first lab-grown. Oh, I got to switch the screen here. Check this out. Hello. Do we have my screen yet or what? There we go. Okay. First lab-grown fish is ready for your plate. The FDA has approved. This is how you know the FDA is corrupt. The regulatory agency is supposed to protect us, right? They should know lab-grown fish is a bad idea. Just from the name, lab-grown fish. Anything food. It just makes me so angry, man. And of course, it's these Hollywood types like Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert Downey Jr. who were investors in this thing, and Jeff Bezos. Multinational food corporation Cargill is also a significant investor. What is cultivated salmon? This isn't fake meat, also known as lab-grown or cell-based. Cultivated fish is real fish grown in a laboratory from fish cells. It just doesn't seem right, man. It could be. Look, am I wrong? Would you eat this? They have to reassure you it's not fake meat, but at the same time, they're saying it's lab grown. I guess it's like they're taking the cells of a fish and they're somehow growing those cells into a full fish. I mean, I would be scared to put that in my body. Am I right? To create the cultivated salmon, a small sample of cells is taken from a live fish, much like a biopsy. These cells are then placed in tanks along with nutrients for growth, allowing the salmon cells to multiply and grow into muscle tissue just as they would inside of fish. Wild type offers a specific type of cut, saku, a Japanese term for a block of seafood that can be eaten raw in sushi, poke, or sashimi. I love sushi, by the way. I have to get some good. That reminds me, I should find some good sushi. The supermarket sells sushi, man, but don't buy the supermarket sushi. My experience, at least my shop right near my house, not good sushi, man. There's a sushi. If you can go to a sushi joint, much better sushi. Nor usually, you got to get it with the wasabi, though. You got to clear the palate with the wasabi. Industry waste and sustainability concerns. These alternative proteins have emerged as a solution to the current concerns regarding animal protein, including water and land use, pollution, overfishing, animal welfare, one of the seafood industry's biggest issues. I don't know, man. What do you think? They're saying it's real fish, but it's just grown in a lab? I don't know. KDDW 2024 1224 says, "Sup, big man? Hey, what's up? What's up? Yes, it is live. We are live. No, I'm not a wrestler. I do look like a wrestler because I do have the lucha libre, right? The lucha libre. That was a good movie. Remember Nacho Libre? That was a funny movie. I do have the Nacho Libre mask, but the problem with that mask is that this part's covered up, so it's like it sounds like Cartman from South Park when I'm on the microphone. This mask is cooler in my opinion because it's the Rey Mysterio. If you're into the Lucha Libre, Rey Mysterio. In the Rey Mysterio mask, and it's also got the mouth open so it doesn't sound muffled when I talk, so I like it. Also got the cross on it. I don't know if you could see. I think the cross is cool. Kind of fits with my brand a little bit more with the fitness and faith thing. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So, but I'm curious, what do you guys think about this fake meat thing? It's not fake meat, it says it's lab grown or cell based cultivated fish is real fish grown in a laboratory from fish cells. Would you eat this? Would you eat this? People are, give a call. I want to hear what you have to say. Call on the show 313-591-0290 and let me know what you think. Would you eat this cultivated salmon, which is cultivated from fish cells? I mean, like, if you remember that company that Bill Gates was behind, I think it's called, I can't remember the name of it, but he was making meat from like soy plant-based stuff, and people were saying there's cricket meal in it. So after that, like, left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, I don't know if I trust these billionaires with their business ideas, which are, producing lab-grown foods. I don't know if it's just not natural. I'm all about natural stuff. I don't know if I would eat this. It says more than 20% of the U.S. seafood supply is lost or discarded, much of it due to unsustainable capture methods and spoilage across the supply chain. But that's also the natural way. Like, for example, like, one of my favorite pastimes of the summer is to go out to the beach and to fish for fluke. Like, one of the easiest fish, most fun and easy fish you can catch if you've never gone fishing. You go to the shore. You don't even need a boat, bro. You go to the shore. Just wear some shorts though, because you're probably gonna have to wade up to your knees, maybe. You take a fishing rod, like a medium duty fishing rod. Let's say like medium duty. Medium duty fishing line. Take a 6-inch, what do you call those things? Take one of those, those fake like shiners that they have that are made out of the name of it escapes me, man. I'm sorry, but if you take one of those 6-inch shiners and you attach it to like a quarter inch ball jig head, and you cast it out there, and then you just jig it like that up and down as the waves come and crash down like this. You just jig it up as the waves come, and then as it comes crash, you let it come down naturally. You will catch fluke. And I caught a bunch of fluke last year, but the fluke was short. They have to be like 17 inches at least, or in some places like 18 inches. So, like, I got one 17 inches, and I had that fluke, man. I cooked it up. It was delicious. Highly recommend it. But at the same time, I had to throw back a lot of shorts. But like, I caught those shorts with that quarter-inch ball jig head with that hook. I don't think I killed them, but I don't know. Like, they were bleeding out a little bit when I tossed them back in the ocean. So is that considered like waste or spoilage? I don't know. Let's see. The Investigating Global Aquatic Food Loss and Waste white paper found 23.8 million tons of edible aquatic food were lost or wasted in 2021. A significant amount of this loss occurs during sea fishing, where catches that are not deemed valuable enough are thrown back into the ocean, often dying shortly after. See, this is what I was just talking about. It's not that they're not deemed valuable enough, you moron, whoever wrote this. See, obviously not a fisherman. It's not that they're not deemed valuable enough. It's the fact that they legally are not allowed to be taken because there's a regulatory limit that they put on the size of the fish. You don't think that the fishermen would love to just take like shorts? Like, let's say they catch a 17-inch fish and they have to throw it back. Like, don't you think they'd want to like cook that fish up? A 17-inch fluke? Come on. It's because of these laws that they put into place. That's why. For the fish that are kept, processing is the next largest source of waste loss, which depends on market demand. Well, when you process a fluke you take the fillet knife. Not all of it's a fillet, bro. You throw away the skin and you throw the bones away. You're not going to eat that. What are you trying to say? You're going to actually turn that into food? I don't know, bro. Any thoughts on this? 313-591-0290. You can call and share your thoughts on the show. All right, let's go back to some lifting. We got a couple more sets to do. Let's hit some more squats, back squats. Let's go back to Jim Joseph Link. Let's do it. Okay. Now, 2 more sets. I think we're done. Let me squeeze. I'm gonna stand on my heels, squeeze a little bit more blood into those quads. That's funny. Someone asked me if I'm a wrestler. I do have that. I was like, why would he think that? And I was like, well, I do have a Lucha Libre mask on right now. Maybe that's why. Oh, man. So, yes, getting back to fluke fishing. Easiest fish to catch. Go out to the shore. 1/4-inch ball jig head. 6-inch gulp. Shiner. And then you can catch, just jig it a little bit as the tide's coming in and out. You'll know what to do. Very easy. Medium duty rod. It's very easy and delicious, bro. Delicious. Now I got my, check it out. Got my eggshells, my easy, cheap calcium supplement, which I cooked in the oven. I forgot to tell you. Don't just eat the eggshells like after you crack your egg in the morning. What you want to do is put it in the oven, 200 degrees, for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, let's say. And that way you get the eggshells. And it's a cheap source of calcium carbonate. If you go to your vitamin shop, it's your vitamin aisle of any store, you look at the ingredient list under their calcium. Most of the calciums are made of calcium carbonate, which is what this is. Now, the better source of calcium is calcium lactate, which you're going to get from kale and other green leafy vegetables. But I like kale as my source of it. So your mileage may vary, as they say. Calling the show 313-591-0290. Are you guys trying to get in shape? What's your exercise and diet plan like right now? We're trying a different approach, guys. High volume, high sets, high reps. And we're doing it Serge Nubret style. We're trying to get laser cut definition. Of course, I'm on a cut right now. He was 230 not too long ago. So I'm still losing weight. Today happens to be a high calorie day. So I'm using a zigzag approach with my calorie intake. During the week, it's going to be lower. Today, it's 2,700. So I also wanted to talk a little about my CPAP experience. I used to have sleep apnea, and my sleep apnea used to stop me from sleeping. I used to like wake up every couple minutes, and this would be like throughout the night. I think I did a sleep study, and the number was like 150 mini. I forget the term that they use for it, but it's like little times you wake up in the middle of the night, your system's awake, so you're not going into a deep sleep, so you're not getting a restful, recuperative sleep. So all during those years, like 10 years, where I was not sleeping, I gained a bunch of weight. I was not recuperating either. So anytime I would try like a fitness routine, I would not gain any traction. It'd be like a car, like getting stuck in the snow, and their wheels would be going like this. That's how I felt. And now that I'm actually sleeping, it's been like 1 year finally where I've been sleeping because I use my CPAP machine. I also have what they call your MAD, your mandibular advancement device, which makes it so that you stick your lower chin or your lower jaw outward. So you put this device in your mouth. It's like a mouthpiece, and it keeps your lower jaw jutted out. Why? Because it allows your airway to get more air that way, because it opens up your airway. Now with me, I know a lot of times people say if you're overweight, you can get sleep apnea. I didn't always have sleep apnea. I think when I was like a teenager, I was like a skinny, relatively skinny kid. I was never heavy, but I'm just saying I was not a string bean, but I was also pretty lean, and I never had sleep apnea. So people say, oh, maybe it's the fact that there's has to do with your weight or whatever. So there is some truth to that, but at the same time, the doctor looked at my throat and my esophagus, and she said my opening is very small. I don't know why. It's just a small airway. I have a small airway, she said. So that could be the reason why I have sleep apnea. So without those devices, man, I am out of luck. I really can't sleep. So thank God I can sleep again. And now I can train again and actually make progress and get into shape. So I'm really happy about that. I want to share my fitness journey with you guys too. Let's do another set, and then we'll chat about something else. Here we go. We got one more set. We're done. What time we have? We have plenty of time, actually. I usually go for 2 hours. Oh, man. I have to say, as I'm getting up in reps, and I mean sets, I'm getting less of a pump. Maybe it's because those first couple sets establish the most of the pump of the muscle. And then any sets that you do after that, it's like incrementally more, but like by a very small amount, extra pump. So maybe that's what I'm feeling. All I know is it's at a certain point, like they say, becomes like cardio, but I'm not doing it for cardio. But like I said, if you're just tuning in here, this is the Weekend Warrior Project. We're getting yoked. We're trying out a system of training where we're doing twice a week. We're doing high volumes training routine, high set count, high rep count. And we're just getting a lot of pump in the muscle. And we're going to switch out muscle groups for Saturdays. It'll be different muscle groups on Saturday. And then lower body will be switching between quads and hamstrings on Sundays. So we're going to see how this works out. If it does work out, then it might be a good routine for your average 9-to-5 guy who's working most of the week, sometimes even Saturday, like myself. So, I think it might be a good idea. Call in the show 313-591-0290, preferably between sets like right now. Would it be a good time? I'm curious as to what you guys think of what you're doing for fitness. If you're just, curious, checking in, I don't know. Right now, this is my heart rate right now. That's me right now. So I'm trying to catch my breath. And I'll give you an update on my fish tanks too. Right now, I got a 125, I got a 29. 125 has a Jack Dempsey, tinfoil barb, silver dollars. My 29 has fancy goldfish, a dojo loach, white cloud minnows. Upstairs, I just lost a fish, man. I just lost my gourami. I lost my flame gourami. Beautiful fish. I don't know. They're fragile, man. They're fragile. Every time I've tried a gourami, it does not last long. But I will tell you one thing. My favorite fish right now is definitely a zebra danio. If you're new to fish keeping, bro, get yourself a 10 because those are pretty small and you're easy to take care of. And they're kind of in between, like not too little, not too much water volume. Get some zebra danios and plant it up. You will love that tank. Easiest tank to take care of, most hardy fish. That fish will not die. That fish is an awesome, active, beautiful fish, cheap fish. So you can get probably 10 zebra danios for like $10. They're that cheap. So $10 to $15, I would say. But check them out. Really great fish. Right now, my other tank is really looking good. What I should do is what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna upload some footage of my tanks to my channel too, so you can see my tanks. And some of them are years in the making. Sometimes it takes years to actually get a good tank. All my tanks are freshwater. I did try saltwater at one point, but I just did not like it. I got so much cyanobacteria. I actually tried it 3 times in different tanks, but I got too much red cyanobacteria. And it was just a headache and it was a hassle. And I like things that are easy and kind of take care of themselves most of the time. So the way I keep fish is to minimize the amount of maintenance that I do on the tanks. And right now, I'm happy with the amount of maintenance I do. I do very little maintenance, and I just get to enjoy my fish. And they're very relaxing and stuff, and they help therapeutic. They reduce your stress hormones and stuff. So they're really cool, really nice fish. So anyway, we're gonna do another set. I think I'm maxing out on my pump at this point. think I'm maxing out on my pump. I don't know if I'm going to get much more pump after this. We'll see if I get a perma pump like I did with my chest from yesterday's workout, which I still feel kind of pumped from yesterday's workout. Isn't that crazy? Still feel a pump from yesterday's workout after doing high volume sets and reps. So let's do another one. Here we go. Oh boy. We're done. I think that was 13, 12 or 13. I'm done. I think it's enough squats for today. Let's get another squeeze. Damn, my quads are looking big. You can't see them from here, but they look pretty big. Oh my gosh. I'm not trying to overstress my system. I want to sleep. I want to recover. One muscle group, that's been great. Lowering the weight so I can do higher reps and higher sets, that's been great. So far, I'm liking this new routine. Next Saturday, during the week, what I'll do is what I normally do. I'll like get some walking in the neighborhood, take the baby out in the stroller, walk like an hour, which I normally do. On Wednesday, I usually go to the field, the soccer field at the local high school, kick the ball around, do some drills. Almost acts as like my circuit training. I only do that once a week. And of course, I got to get this deck done. So that's not exactly cardio, but it's also taxing and it's annoying and it takes time and it's kind of a workout, but not really. But I have to do that as well. I really need to get this deck done this week because I'm running out of time. Summer's almost over and I want to go fluke fishing. I'm the type of person, I don't like to like fully relax until I get the things that are on my to-do list done. And this deck has one of those things that are on the to-do list that I need to get finished. So, we did it. We did it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines, 313-591-0290. The question is, what are you currently doing in your training routine, your diet regimen? Are you weighing your food? Are you counting your calories? What do you normally do? Do you just eat so you're full? Do you try to go a little bit hungry, like they say, without measuring stuff? Like just go a little bit hungry, eat 80% full. So, and like they do in Japan, instead of having to count calories. Here's my problem with that, okay? The reason I weigh everything and I use a food scale, and I just go on Google too, and I say, how many calories are in 30 grams of blah, blah, blah. The reason I do that is because I like to be precise. And sometimes when you cut calories too hard, you could actually have a negative effect. You don't want to cut too hard. So where's the fine line? Like you need some type of measure to make sure you're not cutting too hard and make sure you're not eating too much. So sometimes I look at my calorie count and it's the day is not yet over. I try not to eat too much after 8 o'clock, but sometimes I do like at 9. But anyway, it's best practice to not try to eat after 8 p.m. But if I look at my calorie count, and I usually do use my calculator on my phone, and I say, okay, I ate, I use my calculator, right? I say, okay, I put in a number in my calculator. This is how many calories I've eaten so far. Then I add to it throughout the day. Makes it easier because I don't use my calculator for anything else really. And then, so what I do is I add the calories up that way. And where was I going with this? I was like, and then after that, I use that to kind of like make sure I'm not under eating. So sometimes I'll actually be under, and then I have to be like, oh, you know what? I gotta eat more now. So now I get to eat more. So it's a great feeling when you have extra calories and you're like, oh, I get to eat something now. It's a cool feeling. So sometimes one of my treats right now is I go to the fridge, I grab the Greek yogurt, I put like a serving of Greek yogurt in a bowl on my food scale, I measure it out, and then I get the granola mix from 1 Degree. I get the 1 Degree. That's important because 1 Degree is on the Detox Project. They are glyphosate free, so no weed killer in those grains, and they don't bother my stomach. I feel great after I eat it. It's not that caloric, like 35 grams, 140 calories or 160 calories, depending on the flavor. I add the granola. I put a little blueberries, wild blueberries. Those are really low in calories because they're so small, like really tiny blueberries. And I put those in there. It's really like delicious. It's really delicious. It's my treat. My go-to treat right now is my little Greek yogurt granola with blueberries. And I like that because altogether it's like 330 calories. So sometimes I'll be able to eat more because I'm counting my calories. The only problem is sometimes you're not sure exactly how many calories that you're eating because, like, let's say you cook a meal, so you don't have to count like onions and vegetables, but the amount of ground meat that you eat, for example, that you should kind of like try to measure, but it's hard. That can be annoying and it's hard to sometimes. So like then you'll just have to estimate how many calories you're eating. So when you estimate that way, it's not as precise, but you kind of get a ballpark estimate. And then what I do is I weigh myself and I make sure I'm going down. And sometimes if I eat a high carb meal, because sometimes every couple of days I'll replenish my carbs, then I know that my scale is going to go up a little bit because I'm retaining more water. So, but you don't have to go crazy about that and worry about that too much. All right. Okay. Are you guys into Bitcoin at all? Because I just want to show you something. Bitcoin's at 118 again, guys. It's almost at 120 again. If you don't have Bitcoin, I would highly recommend it. Bitcoin's going to continue going up. I'm waiting until it goes over 120 because I want to sell some of it. But get some Bitcoin. You'll be glad that you did. Get some MSTR, which is the stock that tracks Bitcoin. They actually bought a bunch of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, it's called. Awesome. I'm not huge into stocks. Like I have friends who are day trader and he gives me advice, but I just kind of listen to him, what he says. But if those of you are out there big into stocks, let me know what you're thinking with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is going to continue going up. After the strategic reserve was announced, I was like, that Bitcoin's going to go up. As soon as Trump got elected, honestly, Bitcoin went from 68,000 to I think 80 or 90,000, and it's kept going up from there. So it's a great investment. Okay, guys, I want to once again direct you to my free book. It's called Jesus Lifts. It's a free testimony book, Testimonies in Jesus Christ. It's got 14 amazing, life-changing testimonies of Jesus Christ in it, and I highly recommend you check it out. It doesn't cost a dime. I don't take donations. There's no exchange of money whatsoever. I just want it to be free of any money involvement with it, because I don't want the people to say, oh, he's making money off of the gospel. He's making money off of Jesus. I don't want anyone to even think that. So I make everything free. So the editors that help to edit the testimonies that I have, because they're all in audio format right now, they don't get paid. They just voluntarily volunteer their time to edit these testimonies so that you guys can. They did it for you guys. They did it for people out there who want to know more about God, want to know more about Jesus Christ, Christianity. They're written, they're transcribed from audio interviews. So I'm the interview and I'm asking them questions about how they came to Jesus, and they're the ones who are mostly talking, and they're sharing their whole story, and they go into tremendous amounts of detail. And it's almost like when you're reading it, you're almost like you feel like you're reading an autobiography. When it's really cool. I used to love autobiographies. They're really cool to get someone else's story as to how they changed their life or how they came to understand certain things and things like that. So really interesting stuff. If you have a testimony of Jesus Christ, I am looking for guests to come on the show and share it on the live stream. And then, of course, we'll also eventually convert it into a testimony in one of our testimony books. We're hoping to get some like volumes 7, 8, 9, 10, who knows how many volumes we can get. We're just going to try to put out as many of these free testimony books as we can. And that way people will be able to come into relationship with Jesus Christ and have their lives changed and, have this transformative moments and things like that. That'll be great. That's the whole idea behind it. What else do I want to show you guys? No, that's about it. So fezgarcia.com/free-book. By the way, on my website, I also have like blog posts and things that I do. And sometimes I review stuff. Some of that stuff has affiliate links. So that actually supports me. So that's separate. That's related to like fitness and health content. And I also post that stuff. So check it out as well. Things that I recommend. I'm also going to write up a review very soon on Airs Tech products, like what I'm wearing right now. This is one of their medallions that doesn't come with the chain. I just bought this separate. But what it is it actually prevents EMFs from affecting you, electromagnetic frequencies and things like from the Wi-Fi and God knows what. It's the technology actually deflects a lot of that. Don't ask me how it works, but a lot of like NBA stadiums and stuff like that are now converting their stadiums using Airs Tech products. It's very state-of-the-art stuff. You don't hear about it, but I have not just this, but I have the rectangle, I have the squares. I have them spread out in my house in different rooms, and I can definitely feel a difference as far as like the EMFs and things. I also wrote about it on my site, what you can do using aluminum insect screen inside your cell phones to kind of like prevent the EMFs from affecting you. It's a really cheap, easy fix and things that you can do to prevent that. I don't know why I keep saying my stream is cutting out. I got to look at my internet connection here or something. Is my stream cutting out? All right, guys. Anyway, God bless. Take